Real development team. So if you have any questions about anything, you can feel free to ask us about upcoming products, features, any bugs you've encountered, stuff like that. We'll try to answer those questions as best we can. And I'm going to be, before that, I'm going to be showing you a very brief demo here, just kind of based off the initial questions that we received for the webinar survey, stuff you guys might want to know about. It seems like a lot of you guys are interested in the pipeline. So, pipeline between various softwares and stuff. So I'm just going to be showing you a brief demo before we get to the Q&A, about 20 minutes. I'm going to do a quick headshot production. I'm going to show you how to just the basic features of the digital human shader, which is a new feature that we have with iClone and Character Creator. And then finally, the Unreal Live Link, which is what a lot of people are interested in, getting stuff into Unreal and Unity and other game engines as well. So I'm just going to be briefly showing you that. Again, so any questions you have, please put those in the Q&A panel, okay, of the Zoom webinar panel there, or the Zoom Q&A section, I guess you can say. And we'll be answering those in about 20, 25 minutes or so. And as always, we'll be sending out a survey for you guys. If you fill out that survey, we'll give you a 10% discount from the content store. Any feedback you have, any ideas you have for future webinars, anything you'd like to learn, please feel free to put that in the survey and get that 10% discount for the content store. And as always, we are recording this. We're live streaming on YouTube as well. If you are on YouTube, we won't be answering questions from YouTube, from the YouTube comments. We'll be answering them only from the Zoom webinar panel. Okay, so just be aware of that. But we are live streaming this on YouTube and recording it, so we can send this link out to you guys on for the future to go through on your own time. Okay, I don't think there's really anything else that I need to tell you for this for the start here. We're just going to be going through a brief demo. I just want to show you a really cool project that one of our artists here at Real has done. You may recognize this character as Gollum from the Lord of the Rings series. And you can see in iClone, we've done some really nice lighting. And if we zoom in on the character, you'll see there's some very, very nice skin details and lighting on this character. Now, this is all accomplished using the digital human shader. And I'm going to show you briefly about how to kind of enhance your character's look using the digital human shader once we produce our character in just a moment. But I just want to briefly show you this. If we want, we can take a look at how the character performs. We have Live Link activated, and if you want to learn how to use Live Link, I can show that to you at the end of the webinar or anytime in the Q&A session. It's fairly simple stuff, but let's go to our face puppet here really quick and show you. We use an angry profile and just kind of preview this. You can see here's our Live Link from iClone into Unreal Engine. So some angry looking Gollum, you guy's basically always angry in the movies anyways. So there you go. I'll also show you a brief facial motion capture of myself here. Don't scream when you see my face. I didn't do my makeup today, so we're going to load up real time for iClone here. This is something that you need. There's me. Oh, there we go. Get my eyebrows in place. Okay, so there's me, and I'm going to just do a really quick calibrate neutral pose. Again, if you're not familiar with any of this stuff, then please feel free to put that in the Q&A panel there. So I'm going to go over to into iClone here, and we're going to just briefly go into plugins and go into Motion Live and load up Motion Live here. And we're going to use face for real time. This is just the simplest example because it's already attached. It's already my webcam. So, and this is our avatar name, temp avatar. We'll just go ahead and make sure we select face for real time for this. And go ahead and then preview. Okay. So there's me. You'll see the, let's put this over here. Okay. So just your basic motion capture with the face. Okay, and we can also, that's live streaming into Unreal as well. So here's me in Unreal. And let's get this out of the way there. Oh, we'll have to do this. Okay, so there's your live real-time motion capture, facial motion capture from iClone into Unreal using Faceware. Okay, so this I just wanted to briefly show you this at the beginning because this is what we can accomplish with iClone and the live link into Unreal Engine. I mean, the lighting is not ideal in the Unreal Engine here. It's basically just a project that I've loaded up called Soul Cave, and I can show you where to find that later. I just kind of wanted to briefly show you this example here. Okay, but for now, we're going to go ahead and close down Motion Live. We're going to close everything down. We're going to start from scratch in Character Creator. You can see when I close down iClone, the live link will be disabled, and our character will go back into his upright pose, which looks a little strange for Gollum there, especially since he's wearing swim trunks. But we'll go ahead and close Unreal Engine down now. We don't need to save this for now. We'll just close that down, and we'll close myself down as well. We'll maybe do facial motion capture later if you guys want to know about it more. But I want to take you, okay, whatever. I'm going to take you through a brief demo here of facial, or rather headshot, the headshot plugin, and then we're going to take that digital human shader and import a mixamo motion as well, because some of you inquired about how to import mixamo motions. And again, we have lots of tutorials on this stuff as well. If you want to learn more about it, I can put those in the chat window for you. Okay, so let's do a quick headshot. Okay, so I press the J hotkey here to zoom into my character's face. Very useful hotkey to know if you're zooming onto your character's face. We're just going to load up a quick image here in Pro mode. And again, I'm going to zoom through this pretty fast because we have other tutorials that cover a lot more detail on this. I'm going to use this kind of scrubby-looking woman here. Apologies for my language, but okay. So we'll just keep the body type at current since it's a female body, and we'll use a clean, rough skin type, and we'll go ahead and generate this. So again, what we're going to do is generate that head. It's going to take like a minute or so here, and then we're going to. I'm going to briefly show you. I'm going to do some really quick just morphs and sculpt morphing and image matching tools, just to show you the tools. Again, if you want to get like really ideal examples of a headshot, successful headshot to character example, then it's going to take a bit more than the time that I have here. I'm going to spend about 5-10 minutes. Excuse me, just doing the main morphs and some of the main skin adjustments that we can talk about, because some of you may not be aware of this with the headshot plugin. But again, anything that you'd like to know at any time, please put it in the Q&A window. And we'll go over here to, since we're waiting for this to load up, we might as well download our mixamo. Well, I guess it just stopped there. Okay, so there's our initial headshot. Okay, not too bad, not terrible. It looks a little bit, off. The eyes are a different color, obviously. She's bald. We need to put hair on her. We could probably modify the skin a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and activate Sculpt Morph. Personally, I don't like to show the control areas because I think it kind of gets in the way. But we'll go ahead and activate Image Matching Tools. Okay, so this allows us to basically superimpose the image. I'm going to take this morph gizmo off here. Oops, we need to keep that on actually. And then go to, I like to go to grayscale and use a high contrast example because it's just kind of easier to see the difference between black and white and the photo. So you can see the opacity right here. If we take that up, take that down, the head shape is relatively similar. We could probably take the head shape up a little bit, like this area here. You can see the where it's moving down there. Okay, so there's the furthest down extent there. We can probably bring it back up to about here, and then we can take the cheeks, kind of bring them in slightly, just like this. And again, you want to make sure that they kind of conform to the head shape of the character. The jaw is important, very good first step. Okay, I think that's fine. Again, we're not going to spend too much time on the details. The ears are way off. You can see the ears here need to be adjusted. So what you can do is we'll take those ears up. Her right ear, we can't really see it, so we're not going to worry about the right ear. We'll just kind of take it to a level like this. And I want to bring the ears a little bit up as well. So I'm going to go to the ear sculpt morph section and just bring them up kind of like this. And if you go over to your morphs, you can just find where all the morphs are being activated from. Once you own Headshot, the Headshot plugin, under Headshot, there will be a number of different, like thousands of basically different morphs that you can adjust for more detail. So when you automatically select it, it'll go down to that slider. You can see the slider, your top height right there. Okay. We can change the the regular ear height. Let's just type in height. Okay. And ear height, we'll just take that up. Okay. And you can see it goes to 100, but her regular ear is kind of stretched a little bit beyond that. So we can take this actually to 150 beyond the limit. Okay. Maybe even 200 in this case. Okay. Everyone has different head proportions, facial proportions. We'll just stretch that ear height out a little bit. Okay. And ear top height, this could be like maybe on the left one we can do separately. Okay, so take that out. And, you know, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, I just want to show you those small little details. Another little thing that we can adjust here is her mouth here. So I think the nose and everything looks fine. Okay, looks pretty decent. We can probably adjust the eyes slightly. I'm going to just do the eyes really quick here first. Those probably need to be brought up a little bit. Okay, so you can see the borders right there. So I'm going to go over to the eye section here and just do some brief modification for the eyes. Bring those up slightly. Again, I'm using symmetrical right now because her face surprisingly is quite symmetrical actually, aside from the upper eyebrows there. And I think they need to be taken down a little bit, these edges here. It's a little bit too high up. Let's take this down more. And maybe for this case, we don't want to use symmetrical. So let's take symmetrical off. And let's take this out a little bit. Okay. This one, I think we need to bring the inner eyelid up a little bit. Again, I'm pretty terrible at this stuff, to be honest with you, but I'm just going to show you a brief demo of, you know, what you can achieve with all this stuff. I think eyebrows can be brought up here a little bit. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this. And you can also use the mesh editor as well. I'm just going to keep it like that. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail. Let's just change her eye color. You can go down here to change the eye color to a nice green. Okay, you can modify this in various other ways as well here if you want. So there it looks a little bit more accurate. It's more of a hazel, but this is kind of more of a light green. Let's just take a look. Okay, maybe let's take this eyelid part up a little bit. And again, there's lots of stuff you can do here. The mouth is what I want to fix here. The mouth, the image that's superimposed on her mouth, we need to kind of reproject the photo onto the 3D head because there's a little bit of a mix up with the edge of the mouth there. So I'm going to select the character's mouth. What we're going to do is we're going to bring it up like this. Okay. Needs to be brought up slightly, that edge there. And then we just go to ahead and reproject the photo. And that should reproject the photo on the correct height for the character's mouth. Lots of tutorials on this that I can refer you to as well, but I just want to briefly go through this. The main thing I want to do in this case here is I want to focus on the skin because that's where we're going to use the digital human shader. Okay, and digital human shader is the newest feature, of course, with Character Creator and iClone that allows you to create excellent results like the Gollum character that I had a little bit earlier. And there you can see that mouth edge area there has been fixed, and we no longer have the image kind of the mouth part on the image projected below the actual part on the character morph. Okay, so let's go ahead and just use that. I'm going to throw some. Let's just get out of the image matching tools here, and activate Sculpt Morph. I'm just going to go ahead for a couple of skin templates here. We're going to use skin. We're going to use old face here since she's kind of weathered her face. Now, one thing I want to mention as well, it's kind of easy to fix, is you go to attributes and you close your character's eyes. A lot of the time, headshot will just kind of project. You'll see some smearing kind of on the eyelids of the character. So there's an easy fix for this to use the eyelid mask down here. You can just select that, and I just normally use maximum upper eyelid. Okay. We're just not going to use a scalp or a beard since she doesn't have any facial hair. And we're just going to go ahead and update the skin texture. So what you're going to see is this female character with her original facial texture there. It's going to be modified. Did I click it? Okay, there we go. It's going to be modified. The eyelids are going to be fixed. You're going to see some weathering on her face. And I'll talk briefly about the details of the digital human shader. There you go. as we move along here. Okay, so you can see when you use that old face skin template, you get a lot of nice little wrinkles in here, some age marks on the side. It looks a lot more detailed, and those eyes have been fixed. Okay, and again, lots of other things you can mess around with. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to go ahead and throw some hair on her as well. We're going to go into content and need to find our hair under base. And surprisingly, there's a hair that kind of looks a lot like hers, but it's a male hair. We use this mid-length male hair. This is in the Conforming Hair Volume 2 content pack, by the way. You can purchase this from the content store. Highly recommended. I mean, there's very limited amounts of hair templates, or you can purchase from the marketplace as well. And you can see up here, not exactly correct, but close enough. If you wanted to change the color of the hair, easiest way to do it is with the hair selected, go into material and just change your diffuse map. Okay, we can leave it at traditional shader. We don't need to modify that. With our diffuse map selected, let's go over here to attributes, or adjust color rather. And let's adjust it to brightness, something a bit brighter. Maybe add some saturation there and change the hue slightly to a yellow. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to find the balance between the kind of a greenish and a yellow. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that since we're kind of short on time here. That's a nice blonde looking hair, I guess. Maybe some bit more saturation, whatever. Okay, close enough. So I think, obviously the eyes could be a lot better. I would have spent a lot more time on the eyes, but this is the result that we have. And I do have it saved, if a version saved that I spent a little more time on, which we can use a little bit later on. But for this character's body, we're just going to quickly throw on some clothes, and then I'm going to show you the digital human shader. So for the body morphs, we're going to go into content here. Actually, just go over here to morphs, and let's just go to our actor. Okay, and we're just going to type in old, since we want her to have a kind of like an old body. Okay, old, and press enter. Oops, body old. Okay, so for the old body, what's going to happen when I put this slider to 100, it's also going to kind of like modify her face. Okay, so you can see her body is getting older, but her face is also getting older. And so obviously that's something that we spent some time doing this headshot. We don't want to modify her face. So what you have to do is take the old slider up to 100 and then go over to head, and there's a head slider for old as well. You can just take that down to like -100. And it restores it back to the original there. Okay, so now she kind of has an older body. Still a pretty decent looking body, but again, you can pump that old up to like -200 and +100 on the other side if you want, but we'll just leave it like this. Okay, and I'm gonna just go ahead and throw some clothes on our character really quick. We're gonna throw some shirts. Let's throw a shirt here. There's a content pack from Abori Art called Survivor Place It, which I really like. Okay, it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic world outfit collection. There's also, we'll just twirl up shirts. There's pants. And so our place that we'll just throw on some no cargo pants. Throw on these nice dirty pants here. And just throw on some shoes and a jacket. And then I'll show you the different digital human shader settings, and we'll go from there. And then we'll after that, we'll get into our Q&A. Okay, so I'll just throw on this cool looking jacket here. And we can probably right click on our character. If we right click over here, oops, right click right here, we should be able to select the bra and just delete the bra. Again, any mesh that's not showing, you want to get rid of that mesh just to kind of keep your character low resource. I think that looks pretty cool. She looks like pretty post-apocalyptic, and we'll throw some shoes on there as well. If you want, I can also show you the upcoming Smart Gallery, which is pretty cool as well. It's not on this version of Character Creator that I'm using, but will be available, excuse me, in future versions. Actually, is it available on this one? Nope, not on this one. Okay, I have too many versions on my computer. All right, but here you can see, take a look at our character's face and see how we can modify the skin details here. Before I do this, I'm going to go into a different project here. Now, under project, under stage, rather under regular projects here, You can see there's a number of, where are they here? Stage. These ones here with DH in front of them, okay? So under projects, stage, and these ones have DH in front of them. That stands for digital human. Okay, so these ones are kind of optimized for use with, digital human characters. We won't talk too much about it, but I'm just going to go ahead and use this DH default here. This will have a bit more of nicer detail on our character. Again, we press the J hotkey and take a look at the skin details here. There's one called Cold Even, which I think is a nice look. This one has a very nice appearance. It's easier kind of to see the wrinkles on this one. I like this Cold Even one here. And we're going to just focus really close on the wrinkles here. Again, when your character is selected, you want to go over here to materials, and you can see which materials are set to digital human. Okay, shader, and our head is set to digital human head. Okay, right there. Some of them are PBR, like the eyelashes, and the hair and stuff is all traditional as well. You can see which ones are which. And if you want to convert either shader to whatever other shader, you can select this convert object shader right here. But for the head, we're going to keep it like this. Let's actually just use our DH default here. And press J, get in there. To demonstrate this, actually, I'm going to just remove a couple of lights in the scene here. We're going to go to our scene, and we're going to remove the side and the back lights here. And we're also going to go to our visual tab, and we're going to remove our image-based lighting temporarily, okay? Just take that off. So now when we do that, you can see a lot more detail on our characters, especially on the pores and the wrinkles and stuff like that on the character's face. So I'm gonna go back to my scene manager here and take my key light, and let's just actually take this off. I'm gonna create a new light here. The GoToWebinar panel is in my way, or the Zoom webinar panel there. Let's go ahead and create a light, a directional light, just to make it easier. Because I like to use the / key to kind of rotate the light like this. So when you use the / key, you can really rotate a light in nice ways and get nice visualization of the wrinkles and all that stuff. Let's just use an angle like this maybe. That should be good. Okay. Now, with our character selected, actually, let's take that light and go to our attributes for the light. Let's take it down to 1 here and increase the shadow darkness. There you go. I like higher contrast lighting myself. That's a personal preference. Some people may not like that, but okay. Back to our character now. We're going to finish this off in the next couple of minutes here and get to the Q&A. We'll go to our materials. And when you have a shader type set to digital human, you can always go down here, and there's a section called shader settings, right? In that you'll have your textures. This is your transmission map for your subsurface scattering, and there's a subsurface scattering map as well. You can modify this to adjust the amount of subsurface scattering. If you're not familiar with subsurface scattering, or SSS, as you can see here, I'll give you a brief example. We'll need to get rid of her hair here really quick to make her hair invisible. I'm going to go to the front of my character here. It just looks kind of like an old man now, and use the / key. And if we take this to the back, you'll see that there's some semi-transparency showing through the ears. Okay, so what subsurface scattering does is it kind of allows a semi-opaque amount of light coming through through certain parts of your character's face and head, like the ears in this case. The ears are probably the strongest example to see. If you go here to a side view, you can press the / key, and sometimes you can see it in the nose. But what I'm going to show you briefly here is another example of subsurface scattering. Let's get a view like this maybe. Okay, this one looks, man, lighting can really change a person, eh? Instagram. So we're going to go ahead and back to the materials here with our head selected rather there. And one of the main things to look at, do we have the head selected? Nope. Again, you can also use the little pick material tool and just select whatever material you want on your character. Again, the transmission map You can adjust the amount of subsurface scattering on this. If we want, we can just go ahead and we can save this and launch it in Photoshop. If you want to adjust this, you can select embed texture. And when you embed the texture, then you're able to adjust the adjust the color here. And when you increase the brightness of this, it's basically going to increase the amount of subsurface scattering effect on your character's face. So if we, again, use that lighting here and take it to the back. Now you can see the lighting is a lot brighter in the subsurface scattering to the point of being unrealistic. So you'd probably want to keep this down again to like a level like this. Okay, but that's one way you can really enhance the level of subsurface scattering using the digital human shader. And again, there's tutorials from my friend Chuck here has done a really great job on the digital human shader tutorials. Highly recommend checking those out, and I can show those to you later. The SSS map that does very similar stuff. Let's go to the blend map here. Subsurface scatter is one of the ones that I want to focus on here, though. These ones I won't have much time to get into details. They're fairly simple anyways. Let's take a look at a view like this, maybe, for example. Lighting scenario like this, rather. And we have to make sure our character is selected here. And this one is SSS radius fall off. This one's a really useful one to use. If you increase this, notice how you can, like, if I take this all the way down to like 0.1, notice how everything looks a lot more like, it's just like a basic normal map, okay? It doesn't look really good at all. It doesn't look realistic. So when you use the subsurface scattering radius map, you can actually really soften stuff, soften it up a lot, which makes it look, very realistic because, sometimes your skin is absorbing certain parts or certain amounts of the light rays and it's reflecting other parts back. And this is kind of just a way to really enhance that effect. Let's try and get a slightly different view here. Something like this, maybe. Yeah, this one you'll be able to see on the nose quite nicely. Where are we here? There we go. So notice the amount of, especially on the nose here, the amount of high black contrast versus when we increase it, it kind of softens up and gets pink and red. Now you can also increase this above 3 if you want, but I don't recommend going much beyond that. Those are basically two of the main new features in the digital human shader that I recommend checking out. Again, you can also use stuff like roughness and I'll show the micro normal really briefly here as well. This is very interesting, the micro normal. Take a look at these pores right here in our character's head. If we increase the micro normal strength, you can see those getting a lot stronger. Okay, and we can adjust the tiling as well. So we can make the tiling like really, really loose like this, okay, a lot larger, or we can like really increase the tiling like this. And it really depends on how, how tight and how young you want the skin to look. Again, like older skin's gonna have kind of looser pores and stuff like this. So you may want to adjust those a little bit. We can probably take the tiling down a little bit again, but to emphasize age, you want to take that and increase it quite significantly in most cases. And the tiling can be a lot larger as well in older people. And of course, there's micro roughness as well. You can take the roughness down to get a more sweaty kind of look or oily kind of look on the face. I like to take this down slightly. There's a lot of details on the roughness too. Okay, you can do the nose separately. Okay, I like to take the nose up a little bit myself as well. Something like this would be ideal. Okay, so you can see the reflectivity off the nose there. Anyways, okay, those are just a couple of the settings here that you can adjust using the digital human shader. And I recommend messing around with all these on your own time. Highly recommend it, and you can come up with something really cool like this. But I don't want to spend any more time on the demo here since we're about halfway through the hour here. I'm going to throw the hair back on my character. And again, if you want to learn how to take this character into Unreal, we can do that a little bit later. I'm just going to go ahead and export the iAvatar or the export to iClone here, just in case we want to do that a little bit later and adjust some of the settings for the face and the lighting and stuff. Okay, but it looks like we have a number of questions already set up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to those questions right away. And let's go ahead and open up that window, opening up a can of worms here. All right, so first question here is from Sibi Nayagam. Does the associated muscle movement animation get transferred to Unreal Engine through LiveLink, or otherwise if we have iClone and CC3? Yeah, basically what we have with LiveLink is we have a direct connection to Unreal. So basically all of the materials, all of the character rigs, everything like that is transferred and converted directly into Unreal. So you don't have to do any of the work. I remember like, gosh, 2 or 3 years ago now, you'd have to modify materials, change the eyelashes, adjust hair and all that stuff. But now, thanks to Unreal LiveLink, you literally just have to import your character in, just select transfer character into Unreal Engine. And from there, it's really simple. And everything gets imported in automatically. And again, if you don't have Unreal LiveLink as well, there's also the auto setup tool. Okay, the auto setup tool, which allows you to import directly into Unreal as well. But in that case, you do have to import like an FBX and go from there, and animations and stuff. Let's see here. So hopefully that answers your question there, CB. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing people's names here. All right, question from Peter Podesser, webinar regular here. I've made changes on a nude male mesh in Sculptress, exported it, then brought it back into CC3 by way of creating a morph target. I can see the morph take shape, but my model goes down to a tiny size. What do you think might be the problem and fix? Okay, so for this one, you want to make sure you check the, I know Sculptress is a little bit strange with this. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you check the export size in Sculptress, export size setting. I've had this issue myself in the past, and it's different with various meshes, unfortunately, with different characters. What you have to do is just check the export settings in Sculptress. I don't think I have Sculptress installed on this computer here. But yeah, Peter, I've had that issue in the past myself, and I've always resolved it by checking the export size setting in Sculptress and just adjusting that accordingly. That's the only answer I can give you there. Yeah, it's mainly to do with the Sculptress export setting. Okay, so Andre Mercado asks, what is the correct way of working or importing smoothing groups? Can you, Andre, maybe you can like elaborate a little bit on what you mean by smoothing groups? You say, I'm finding my clothing comes in with no smoothing groups, and if smooth inside of CC3, not all the objects show as smoothed. So maybe you can kind of elaborate a bit more on what you mean by smoothing groups. Since I'm not really sure. We do have the setting within Unreal and within character, or not Unreal, within Character Creator and with iClone. Here, if you select, for example, our characters, let's select the base female mesh here and zoom in. And again, this is used if you want to get more detailed renders on your character. Let's go here and you can select subdivision or tessellation. So if we go to a mesh view here, like wireframe view on our character's face, we choose subdivision. Okay, that'll just kind of create a more detailed mesh on our character's face. And you can do that for all the clothing as well. I'll take this back to normal mode here. Okay, so again, if you change from original, it's a very slight difference in this one. You know, certain parts like maybe the chin here, for example, might smooth out. The ears are normally a good way to see it. Yeah, you can see the chin smooth out nicely there. But again, this is increasing the mesh count or the poly count on your character's mesh. So just something to be aware of there. Yeah, maybe elaborate a bit more on smoothing groups though. Okay. Let's see. Manny Masaoka is asking a question about, let's see here, commissioning an artist to create custom wigs. The artist here, I can't, unfortunately, I can't click on this. So Manny, maybe you can put the link that you put in the Q&A window into the chat window, because I can't copy and paste links from the QA window, unfortunately. I can only do that from the chat window. So maybe I'll put that link in the chat window there. If you want to commission custom stuff from an artist, you can definitely contact us. A better person to contact would be our developer marketing manager. You can contact them at developer@reallusion.com. I'm going to throw that in the chat window for you guys just in case, okay? At reallusion.com. Okay, I know a lot of people have asked me, they've come to me with custom requests. We have a lot of developers that sell in our marketplace and our content store, and they create a lot of really high quality custom content these days with some really excellent developers. But if you want to, request for one of them to do some custom content for you, just send an email to developer@reallusion.com. Yeah, since I don't have the contact myself. This is Monica Sylvester. Oh, pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, so here's some really cool here from this developer, Monica Sylvester. And again, I don't have her personal contact myself. That would be the developer marketing manager. So you'd have to just give developer@reallusion.com a shout there, and they put you in touch with that artist if they're currently taking custom orders, because a lot of them are backed up actually with a lot of custom orders there as well. So. Okay, so Manny asks, how can I import 3D assets like hair and clothes from DAZ 3D into Character Creator 3 and save them as assets in CC3? So Manny, the first thing you want to do is you want to have the pipeline version of Character Creator 3, because the pipeline version has what's called a transformer tool, okay? The transformer tool allows you, as you can see here, it's on my toolbar. The transformer tool allows you to import DAZ files, DAZ characters directly into Character Creator 3. I'll throw in a link, a YouTube link in the chat window here for you guys. I believe it's called Converting DAZ Content to Reallusion. Let's just see if this pops up with anything here. This one should be it, I believe. Yeah. Hey everybody, in this tutorial we're going to talk about voice again. This one should be the one that you're looking at though. I'll quickly throw the link for this in the chat window for you guys. Yeah, this kind of goes through all the stuff that you need to know about converting your DAZ content into Reallusion format here. Come on, share window. What's going on here? Okay, I'm just going to paste this URL. That works too. Chat window. There we go. There you go. Okay, so that's a good tutorial for you to check out there, Manny. In addition to that, guys, if you're not familiar with, basically every product page has a learning center. All of our products. So if I, for example, go over here to iClone, you can go over here to Learn. And under Learn, there's tutorials. There's a whole tutorial section here, and they're all categorized, into different categories. So, highly recommend checking this out. You want to learn about lighting, cameras, animation, facial animation, the basics, and we have master classes done by some of our pro developers as well. Okay, highly recommend checking these out. Yeah, but every product basically has a Learn item at the top. And you can go to tutorials and find the tutorials from there. Okay, let's go to the next one. Cheryl Brown asks, when you can export from DAZ 3D with facial movements into 3D Exchange, then you don't get a standard character. Or you can import into CC3, but do you get the animation capabilities that way? Let me just kind of analyze this a bit. Yeah, okay, so Cheryl brings up a good point here. When you import DAZ characters into 3D Exchange, there'll be a non-standard character, not a standard character. Not much of a difference, aside from the fact that the geometry is slightly different. and the facial morphs are slightly different as well. But we do have like specialized DAZ facial animation profiles for different different characters there. The best import method from DAZ 3D to iClone. Yeah, Cheryl, that would be through the transformer tool on Character Creator 3. I can always recommend the transformer tool, the best and easiest way to import anything into the Reallusion environment. I remember I'm aging myself now. I remember back in the day, we used to have to take DAZ characters into 3D Exchange and adjust the materials and modify all that stuff. Man, it was kind of a chore, but thankfully now we have the transformer tool with Character Creator 3 in just a few years, which makes it tons easier on people who use DAZ or poser characters into iClone. Yeah, so unfortunately, Cheryl, the morph is slightly different, but again, we do have facial animation profiles now in iClone that are specialized for use with DAZ characters. And you can also create your own animation profiles as well. Okay, let me get to the next question here. This one is from Mike. Mick. Okay, so you're asking, will conforming or wavy hair carry over when you export into Unreal? Not sure. Might need a bit more detail on that one, Mick. Conforming or wavy hair. I mean, you saw the Golem character at the beginning, right? But he had wavy hair, and that converted over. We've really refined our auto setup from iClone into Unreal. We used to have lots of issues with hair and shaders and stuff like that, but now thankfully it's a lot easier. So everything generally will conform, carry over properly into Unreal without need for much modification. Okay, so Zola asks, why did you leave the hair at traditional? Basically, that's just the shader that we use for the hair. If you change it to something else, it'll just kind of mess it up. I'll show you what I mean here. Let's take, where's our hair? Zoop, up. There we go. Hair length changes from traditional to like digital human shader and convert. It's not going to make much of a difference. Okay, so we don't even have the option for digital human shader. The thing is that hair is fairly high resource. Okay, so what you want to do is you kind of want to keep the hair as low resource as possible because it has a fairly high mesh, and when you have a kind of more detailed material on the hair, you have minimal change, but it actually adds a lot in resource consumption. So generally it's ideal just to keep it at traditional. And I'll convert back into traditional there. Whoops. We don't want that. We converted everything back to traditional. That's what your character would look like in iClone 7 without all this other stuff. Yeah, not the way you want it. Obviously, this looks a lot better. Okay, let's go to the next question here. Hopefully that answers that question for you there, Zola. So Diacon asks, how do I get the digital human shaders to Unreal or Unity? Well, unfortunately, I mean, the shaders that digital human shader is only used in iClone or Character Creator. Unreal has their own shaders and Unity has their own shaders as well. So again, when you convert your character, when you transfer your character from iClone into Unreal, you saw at the beginning that our Golem character looked a little bit different. The colors on the skin were different. The lighting was all different and stuff, and that's because the shaders were different, and the lighting conditions were different as well. The skin was actually the same color, but it's just with the shader difference and the lighting difference, it can make a huge difference in the appearance of a character's skin, their environment, as well as the lighting and the shader. I'm going to just load up. I'm going to throw in another live link here. I'll show you how to set up the live link as we move along here, just in case there's another request for something that has to do with Unreal, since it takes quite a while to load. But in the meantime, let's go to the next question. Eric White asks, often when I set up a character in Character Creator, I would like to import the complete scene, lights, and pose into iClone. There is a button in CC to send the character to a T-pose in iClone, but I lose all my other work. Is there a way to transfer everything from CC to iClone? Eric, the best way to do this is to save as a stage. Okay, so I showed you kind of a stage example a little bit earlier on. So in Character Creator, let's just go here, and under projects here, under stage, we have this stage, these ones I showed you earlier, like this DH default. These can also be imported. Over here, we have stage elements, okay? This DH default here. Basically, these are the things you want to save as a stage. Let's save as a custom stage here, just as an example. Let's just go ahead and press plus here. Well, this isn't going to be much of a difference, really. Let's go ahead and throw in our light there, key light, side light, backlight, maybe. Maybe just take the key light. The key light's okay. Let's take it down a bit. Soften that slightly. And visual, we can throw in our IBL as well. In that case, we'll take the key light off. Oh, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Let's just go ahead and save it as is. It's not going to look the best, but I just wanted to show you the example. Or let's use a kind of a example that's easy to see here. Stage. We'll put it in the template tab. Let's use dark DH side dark. This is a good one here. All right, so this one is very easy to see. The shading and stuff. So let's go ahead and save this one as a stage. Let's go ahead and press plus here. You can save it as a test atmosphere. Okay, and then we'll right-click and go to find file. And I believe you should be able to just take this directly into iClone. So in iClone here, okay, if we just focus on our character. Again, this is just default iClone lighting, doesn't really look tremendous. What we can do is we can find that atmosphere here. We can drag it in. Shazam. Okay, and there you go. The lighting and stuff has been imported in. That's atmosphere. That's for your lighting and stuff. Props, you probably just want to, add the props directly in iClone. Okay, so hopefully that answers your question there, Eric. That's the way I would do it. Okay, so Mick asks, when can makeup be adjusted or applied within Headshot? Right now, those map adjustments are still grayed out. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm not sure about this question, Mick. I think you may be talking about, a lot of people often get confused with the more recent characters. We used to have a lot like some makeup templates for, you can use Substance on your previous character versions, like CC Character Creator 1 characters. I'll just show you an example of what I mean here. So we used to previously go over here to the appearance editor, okay, and used to be able to activate appearance editor for Character Creator 1 and 2 characters, and that would allow you to use Substance files to modify your character's look and makeup and everything like that. That may be what you're looking at. And the reason for this being grayed out is because CC3 characters don't support the appearance editor and Substance at this point, which is something we're still working on, which will be available probably in the near future, hopefully. But yeah, that's about it for that one. Aside from that, you can always go to your skin here, your templates here, and go to special. Again, so if you want to be able to adjust that, you can apply them from here. So CC1 base Substance. You can see the little flame thing in the bottom right corner. That indicates it supports Substance materials. And you can apply that to this character as well. It'll just replace the skin, and then you'll be able to use the appearance editor from there. But not really recommended since it's kind of going backwards in time. We do have the digital human shader, which is a lot better. And if you want to modify your character's skin, Texture, the best way to do that is to kind of just export into video, or not video editing, image editing software. So you can, yeah, just do it in more detail from there. There's also various other things you can do, like I said, in the human shader presets. Okay, hopefully that answers that question there. So Roberto Lariga asks, what are the steps if one wants to send the model to Substance Painter to add more details to the normal map? So yeah, basically you can export an FBX or an OBJ to Substance Painter. What I would recommend doing is, you can export the OBJ of the character and then re-import it. FBX as well works. That's really all there is to it. I don't have Substance Painter on this computer, but otherwise I'd be able to kind of show you the quick pipeline there. But yeah, we do have that pipeline available. Not really sure what else I can say on that one there. Yeah, export the FBX or the OBJ directly from Character Creator. You can go ahead and do that, and that works just fine. We have tutorials on the pipeline, which I think would be useful for you. If we go to, actually, let's go back to Character Creator here. And so Character Creator also has its own learning section here. If it'll click there. Oh, tutorials. Yeah. So Sketchfab is one that shows import and export of OBJ. Another one is GoZ. Okay, so the GoZ series of tutorials basically shows exactly this, except it's taking it into ZBrush instead of Substance Painter. Okay, so just kind of follow this procedure. I know GoZ, we have a special plugin for that, but it's essentially the same process to take your character into Substance Painter there. But then again, be aware that we don't support all the substance parameters on CC3 characters currently. That's only for CC1 characters and CC2 characters. Okay, so next question is from Benjamin asking, I'm planning on using Affinity Photo to edit my textures and masks for CC3. Is there any way to change the default photo editing app in CC3? Let's see. I mean, I've never really changed that. I've only ever done it upon installation for a new install. Yeah, I don't know. I believe they're probably in the preferences or something. If you go to like maybe edit, maybe it's in here. I don't want to be kind of scrolling through things. Okay, so yeah, texture setting right here. So mine's at Photoshop.exe. I believe if you change this to the Affinity Designer exe, it should load up every time you load up a texture directly from CC3. Yeah, again, in edit preferences there. Okay, so Michael Pickering asks, will there be any improvements to the Unity pipeline? Yeah, definitely. We always try to, one thing we're focused on, I can guarantee you, is, increased compatibility with pipelines into Unity and Unreal. Because we've had a large influx of users that are coming from these communities using our solution now. And we want to, try to support those people as much as we can. So we're working with a lot of major studios, some that use Unity, some that use Unreal. We work with them constantly to help improve that pipeline. So in terms of a Unity live link, that's possibly planned in the near future here. I don't want to speculate too much, but there's been rumblings around the office, I guess you can say. And yeah, we obviously want to ideally have as much support for both pipelines as possible. Okay, so Subdiacon mentions here, wouldn't it be nice to have a redistributable library for Android, iOS, Windows, and OS X to use those excellent characters in other applications? Yeah, that would be excellent for sure. If I was able to, use my characters in Android or iOS for sure. Fortunately, I don't know that that's in the pipeline. That's something I'm not sure about. But the previous Unity pipeline is definitely going to be improved. If you want, if you guys, by the way, if you guys want to communicate directly with our development team, you can go ahead and go into our forums. We have a wishful features section of our forums that we always take a look at. So if you go to forum.reallusion.com, there's like a wishful feature. Like, for example, this is iClone here. You go down here, there's wishful features, craft your dream tool, right? Just click that and you can just throw in like, you know, whatever thing you're looking for. And we're always browsing the wishful features section there. You know, wishful features for other software as well. Down here for Character Creator 3, right? So this one right here. This one seems to be a bit more active. But yeah, we always review those wishful features sections of the forum. I'll throw this one in the chat window, why not? Just to get feedback from you guys, because honestly, we only have so many QA testers over here at Reallusion, and you know, they can only find so many bugs or so many features, and you know, feedback from you guys is really what helps us to improve the tools. So thank you for that, and we do, you know, take any of comments you have seriously on bugs and everything like that. So James Ellis asks, what is the basic intro setup for motion capture? I kind of briefly went through that at the very beginning there. Generally what you want to do, of course, for motion capture, you do have to have the Motion Live plugin. Okay, so you have to go up to plugins and go to Motion Live right here. And then, you know, depending on if you want to use face, body, hands, capture. I don't have body or hand installed on this computer here, unfortunately. But yeah, we have a Faceware Live Face, which is for iPhone 10. I don't have it beside me right now, but Faceware Real Time is the one I was prepared to demo. So then what you would want to do is, in this case, you'd have to get everything set up. In the case of Faceware Real Time, of course, you have to load in that. Let's see how I look like an old woman. You have to load up that real time for iClone and set your neutral pose. Just like this. Calibrate neutral pose, rather. I always like to do it with the mouth slightly open because I find that Faceware sometimes doesn't really calibrate the mouth correctly. Just have that, like, you know, dumb look on your face, like, and then calibrate. And then we'll go up to iClone, and you want to make sure Faceware Real Time is online by clicking that little dot there and selecting Faceware Real Time from your face list there. And let's get a little closer here. And preview. What? It's always pretty surreal seeing your face, seeing your facial movements on another character. Deep in thought. Surprised. Okay. Anyways, we'll stop fooling around. That's the procedure there, and that goes the same for anything else, whether it be body, hand, or whatever capture. Let's load up. I just noticed this was running in the background. I'll load up a map here for future demos if anyone wants to do some Unreal stuff. Okay. All right. So Peter mentions here, when using the digital shader, you omitted the digital human shader options for the hair. They're supposed to make a big difference, although I've had mixed results. So for the hair, yeah, I'm not really too familiar with the digital human shader for the hair. Again, we do have a series of tutorials on that, but I'm not sure. I don't think any of them goes into detail on the hair, actually. Digital human shader right here. There's eyes. Oh, this hair one, yeah. There's one obviously just for the hair. Now, this one here, like, Again, I didn't see much of a change myself. This is for going into like a lot of detail on the hair, like basically how the light reflects off the hair and stuff like that. You know, the patterns of light that are reflected off the hair. I didn't really study into the hair too much since I'm not really focused on that. But this is the tutorial you want to watch for the hair. The tangent map is the one that basically is adjust the level of lighting reflection and direction of light reflection off the hair. And there's various hair parameters in here as well. I'm probably the wrong guy to ask about the hair settings, unfortunately, since I'm not too familiar with them. For the human shader, this is the newest one we have. But yeah, check out this tutorial definitely. And again, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Peter. Like when I first started, I did mess around with the hair a little bit, but I didn't see too much of a different result. And it goes into a lot of detail as well. You have to pay attention to the small details of the hair. I'm an ideas man, the details man. I don't know. Anyways, but that's I can't really, unfortunately, teach you guys much about the hair since I'm not too well versed on it myself. Unfortunately, it is kind of a new feature as well. So I'll go to the next question here from Benjamin Schechter here. I love the added versatility of the head sculpting option that comes with the headshot plugin and included bonus morphs. Are there any plans to add something comparable for body sculpting? Yeah, we could do like a body morph 1000 pack. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask the content team about that. I think we probably will have something similar to that because it seems like a very practical pack for a lot of people. I mean, the only thing I was able to find under old when I searched under old for the character creator morphs was just that one old default one here, and proximal nail fold. Oh, there you go. Okay. But yeah, I think that's probably something that we'll have at least this year, because that is a very practical request, and I think that's yeah, body sculpting is also very important, obviously, and having more detailed body sculpting, like we have the detailed headshot sculpting, would be definitely something to look into. Yeah, so you see all the different headshot morphs here. We could definitely use that for body as well. But I can't really give you a solid answer on that one, Benjamin. But I think it's a request that's well informed and very practical. So I think that's something that we'll have in the future. Okay, Tanji asks about my video card has 8G, and iClone still loads a bit slowly. I'm using a laptop right now. My video card is a GTX 1070, which is not really the top of the line. It's close to the top of the line maybe last year, but last year 2019 already. Even last year wasn't really the top of the line. It's probably 75% of the way there to not even 70% of the way there to the best ones. So it does load a bit, certain apps load a bit slowly. I mean, I do have Zoom webinar running right now and broadcasting live to a bunch of people. I have Character Creator, iClone, Unreal, and Face for Real Time and Chrome running. Who knows how many things are running in the background, but yeah. Loading time is more affected by your CPU speed as opposed to your GPU speed. And I'm not even sure about the GPU or CPU on this computer here. Okay, good question here from Mick. To clarify, he's referring to a comment we made, statement Relusion made on October 2018 about the appearance editor not being supported for CC3 base. We'll provide a new skin substance in Character Creator 3.1 patch. Yeah, so maybe substance is kind of a misnomer here. It's not really a new skin substance, but it was a new set of skins for Character Creator 3.1. And those were, again, the skin templates here, I believe. These ones right here, these are the C3 skin templates. These are the ones that they were talking about. I'm not sure them saying skin substance was maybe kind of a misnomer there, because they're not substance, they're not substance material supported. But again, they are new skins, but unfortunately not available, not modifiable with substance, unfortunately. So I'm not sure the details on that, but yeah, I think we'll yeah, I can't really find anything on that. But I think that that is something that is supposed to be, I've been hearing that it's supposed to be supported in the future, but again, I don't have an exact timeline for that. But yeah, substance is one thing that we intend to focus on later this year as well. But sorry for the non-solid answer there, kind of a weak answer. But yeah, I don't have the exact timeline, because things go in and out of development, and some things take longer than others. So I don't want to say anything that might get me hung up in the future there. Okay, we'll go on to the next question though, from Paul Bright. And how about an export pipeline to get characters into character animator with a layered PSD export? All poses need to animate, front, side, back T poses. So Paul, that's related to Cartoon Animator. With the Cartoon Animator 4 characters, unfortunately, they only have the 3 poses, or the 3 kind of angle profiles, the 45 degrees and the front facing. However, we do have the 360 heads, which allow for, basically 90-degree head turns. Yeah, we have a lot of tutorials on that. But yeah, this is something that is also in development. We are doing some really cool stuff with Cartoon Animator 4. We're going to be supporting full body motion capture for Cartoon Animator 4 in the next version. When that next version is going to be, I can't entirely tell you, but I can tell you that I've seen kind of test animations of people doing full body animation with 2D characters, and it looks pretty cool. So yeah, that's something to look forward to in the future. I guess that was more of a comment. Okay, next question from Raymond Gilliam. How do you import beards from DAZ 3D to work with CC3? So a beard you'd want to import as an OBJ, probably as an accessory. Yeah, but not hair, only beards. So what you want to do is, go up to create cloth hair accessory right here. And that would be created from, whatever OBJ you have. You could do it that way as well. You can also create an accessory here as well. And this supports OBJ and FBX here. Unfortunately, I don't have a beard OBJ anywhere available, but that's how you would import it as an accessory there. By going to create accessory, and then you just throw that accessory, attach it to your character's head, and throw it onto there. Let's go to the next question from Daniel Hooper. Is there a plan to make cartoon characters in CC3 like Zootopia type? If you mean like animal-like, then I'm not sure about that, but we do have a content pack called Toon, what's it called again? Toon Characters. Gosh, it should be in here somewhere. Oh, I don't have the smart gallery on this one. So this is when you're like, oh man, I wish I had like a easier way to search for packs that I've purchased, but I haven't installed yet. I think it's probably easier to find on Google. Toon Characters. iClone, let's try this. This might be the one. Yeah, this is the one here. There you go, Google. Yay for Google. All right, so this pack here has some pretty cool Toon figures. Some good, really good Toon morphs. I'll throw this one in the chat window as well. Oops. We're going to be releasing a few tutorials on the Smart Gallery as soon as it's ready to be released. Either late this week or early next week. So stay tuned for those, and you'll be able to find your content a lot easier. You can see all the stuff that's included in this pack here. So that's a good one to check out there. Okay. Hopefully I didn't miss any question from you there, Nancy. He said, gee, I thank you. I thought I missed it. Let me know if you missed something. All right. And thank you, Cheryl, for your question. Thank you, Paul. Okay, so Peter asks, is there an existing tutorial on how to make an avatar into a prop with motions embedded? Like Big Boss Hordes products, etc. You know, generally you wouldn't really want to make an avatar into a prop because it's kind of like taking away most of the functionality of that. You wouldn't be able to do any facial animation or anything like that. But if you did want to take an avatar and turn it into a prop, you would do that through 3D Exchange. And let's see if I can show you an example here. Since 3D Exchange is pretty quick and easy, quick and dirty program. So what I would do is let's like load in an iAvatar. We can throw this one into 3D Exchange. Where's the? I haven't done this for a long time. Oh, I don't have the character selected. That would help. And I've probably changed my toolbar as well here. Should be able to send directly to 3D Exchange. Oh man, this is so dumb of me. this probably, I mean, it's just something that you haven't done in ages. So, I mean, gosh. Oh, I guess you'd probably just have to save the iAvatar. Oh, wait, edit in 3D Exchange there. Apologies for my boneheaded move there. Edit in 3D Exchange is right down here under Modify. It's not in the top menu there. Edit in 3D Exchange. All right, let's do it. Let's do it, boys. That took a little bit longer than expected to find a stupid little function. Yeah, since I haven't done it in a while. But yeah, you throw your character into 3D Exchange, and I believe you should be able to convert it into a prop quite easily. You can also do the vice versa way as well. You can convert props into avatars. Just get a standard rig on your character, standard bone rig, whatever prop it is has a bone structure. You can convert to an avatar as well. Yeah, let's see here. What is it? iClone. Just export geometry. Huh. No, because it's still an iAvatar. Huh, weird. I'll have to get back to you on that, Peter. I thought it was an easy fix, but I guess not in this case. We'll just close that down. Sorry for wasting your time. I think I've done that before, which is why I tried to do it again, but it's been probably 4 years. So it's kind of a little rusty in my mind there, but yeah, you can email me as well, just kai@reallusion.com. I think you know my email, so send me a shout over there and I'll be able to get back to you there. Okay, let's go to the next questions here. Where are we here? Tanji. Okay, Tanji Bailey asks, how do you get a copy of motion diagrams such as pistol, rifle, and others? Instead of going back and forth to the content store, could it be closer? I guess screen captures are an easy way to do that. You're talking about specifically the rifle moves or the gun moves pack, I believe. I can't really tell you. Yeah, maybe it's something you have to create yourself. Motion diagrams. I don't think they have it on the pack page as a download. So you'd probably have to just do a screen capture or create it manually, unfortunately. But yeah, that's kind of a wishful feature as well. I'll send that feedback to our content team because I believe that is pretty useful to be able to just kind of see an actual diagram of which motions connect with which motions. Very useful, in fact. So I'll throw that into consideration to the development team, and we'll see if or the content team rather, and we'll see if something we can't get something like that in the future. Okay, so Anthony asks, after creating my character, the skin is really shiny. How can I control that? Easiest way to control your character's skin shininess is, well, if you're using the digital human shader, it's what I showed you earlier. If you go to the skin head, for example, even if you're not using the digital human shader stuff, I will just twirl these up. I believe there's still this standard specular. No, that's disabled now. So once you have the digital human shader, you have to use these roughness scales. So if it's too rough, you want to increase the roughness scale, okay, under roughness here. That's really all there is to it, to be honest. If it's too shiny, you can also decrease the amount of metallic. Okay, just decrease the specular. If you increase the specular, you'll see her face will get shinier. Decrease the specular. Okay, it gets less shiny like that. You can double click on any parameter, by the way, to just reset it back to normal. So if I take my specular up to here, I'm like, whoa, way too shiny. Double click on specular, and it goes back to the default value. Okay, that's a really useful tip that I don't think we have in any tutorials actually. So, and then also you can go down here in specular and glossiness if you're not using the digital human shader. Okay, if you're using PBR or traditional. All right, let's go to the next one here. All right, so Mick asks, when using headshot, it becomes a CC3 base character. So it's annoying when trying to adjust to make up settings. The headshot created head. Yeah, it is a bit cumbersome, unfortunately, Mick. But that's the way it is right now. Again, that's where the wishful feature comes in handy there. Highly recommend putting your feedback there. Okay, let's go to the next question here from Benjamin. Can CC3 create anime style characters, or is it strictly for realistic characters? Yeah, I guess the pack that I just brought up there, Benjamin, this Toon Figures pack, they're fairly anime-like. You can also increase the size of the eyes and adjust that as well. There's body proportions. There's also a number of different packs by our developer, Tokamotion. You can search for those in the content store that have, Toon-style characters. I'd recommend checking those out as well. Okay, so Mick kind of is elaborating on the hair comment earlier. When creating an iClone animation, the conforming hair moves realistically like it moves in the wind. Does that realistic hair movement get carried over into Unreal? Unfortunately, that's not available at this time. That's one of the main things that we're really trying to work on, is the physics, hair physics between iClone and Unreal, and that is I can tell you that's currently in development. I can't tell you anything beyond that, but yeah, the only way to really get realistic hair animation currently into Unreal from iClone is you need to export it as an Alembic file. So Alembic files, if you're familiar with those, they support physics as well for the physics clothing and hair and stuff like that. So yeah, you need to export using an Alembic file there, Mick. I think we have some tutorials, 1 or 2 tutorials on Alembic. I think we import into HitFilm from iClone using Alembic files. Yeah, I think that's what I can say for now. But yeah, unfortunately, we're still working on the other pipeline. So Brahim asks, is it possible to import CC3 FBX characters into DAZ? Well, if you export the character as an FBX file, you can import it into DAZ, but you're not going to have like the full functionality, unfortunately. So just be aware of that. You'll have you'll import the FBX character into DAZ, as an FBX file. But again, you're going to have to do the retargeting and all that stuff. I mean, the pipeline from DAZ to iClone is a heck of a lot easier than the pipeline from iClone to DAZ. I'll just tell you that much. So again, full functionality only if you rig the character and you have to do all the facial morphs. Basically, all the work that we've done for you guys, you'll have to do when you export back into DAZ. So Subdiacon asks, what are the possibilities to model the teeth? Yeah, teeth can be imported as teeth files. If you go into Character Creator, there's teeth found in the base section here, right here. You twirl down the teeth, and you can find the file. And you can see dirty teeth. These are Character Creator teeth files. So again, these can be exported via OBJ or FBX or whatever, and re-imported in to apply to your character. Okay, so anonymous attendee asks, why can't you use the headshot plugin directly with the avatars of CC3 essential morphs and skin for CC3? It always opens the default CC3 character. Well, yeah. So the CC essential morphs and skin pack was for previous characters. CC1 and CC2 characters. As far as I know, you can still apply those morphs to the character. However, just be aware of the material restrictions, like I mentioned earlier. So your CC essential stuff should appear in here, and you can still modify the morphs of that character. I'm not sure if I have it installed on this computer, but yeah, it should be available. I think it is installed. But yeah, let me just go back to the question here. You can apply those morphs and those skin templates to your headshot characters, but again, it's after the headshot has generated a CC3 character. Okay, so hopefully I answered your question there, Mick, about the hair thing. Got another comment from you there. And again, if there's any more details you guys need to go into, you can always email me personally, kai@relusion.com, as always. How is the best, Mario Bush asks, how is the best way to exchange a CC3 project with another coworker or artist? Yeah, in my department, I often get a lot of questions about licensing for all of our software. Now, keep in mind that when you do purchase a single license, you're able to install that on 2 separate computers. So, say for example, I'm sharing with one other coworker. You can purchase a single license. You can install on 2 separate computers, and you can work on stuff the same stuff. You won't have any DRM protection issues if you purchase content, since it'll be assigned under the same license. Now, if you're an indie studio or a school, which I deal with quite often, and you want to have license, you want to share the same license for like 10 computers or 20 computers, for example. In that case, you contact us directly. You can contact us through a bulk purchase inquiry. You can actually just contact myself, but you can also go through our education website, email education@relusion.com, or sales@relusion.com, all the same. And we actually put together a custom installer for you. And with that custom installer, you can all share the same content on as many computers as you want, really. As many as you're able to afford. That's the only restriction. Money is always the only problem, my only weakness. Yeah, so with a single license, you're limited to 2, but any more than that, I recommend contacting us about a volume license inquiry. Okay. So Benjamin asks, are there any plans for Motion Live standalone with Steam VR tracker support? Asking because Ekinema Orion is no longer purchasable. Let's see here. I don't think, no, not really in the near future here. Motion Live is basically kind of a plugin for iClone. So I don't see how it could possibly be a standalone logically in the future. Yeah, like iClone itself is not really that expensive at all. and Motion Live. If you have just iClone and Motion Live, just those two, yeah, it's fairly affordable, I think, for most people. Since iClone's gone way down in price, but it's when you want to export stuff, then it gets a little bit pricier. Yeah, that's the industry, anyways. Okay, so next question here is from Kurt Nielsen. Are there any plans to offer people the ability to delete the main character mesh and just leave a new body created through ZBrush or GoZ? All the character weight should be copied over from the character to the new body and character. So Kurt, essentially, I get this question quite often. Basically, you still need to use the CC base mesh for sculpting. So what you want to do is you need to export the CC base mesh first, and you can take that CC base mesh and you can modify it and skew it and mold it whatever way you want. Then you can import in that mesh as well. But you do need to use the CC base mesh when you export. From that point, you can modify it, and then just as long as you import in the same mesh, even though it's modified, it'll still be compatible. So hopefully that answers that question for you there. Let's go to the next one here. Charles Mandrakia, when I save a custom file, if it's a prop or an accessory, it makes the thumbnail picture the whole scene and not just the prop in the thumbnail. Also, the same thing happens when I'm saving an avatar too. So basically right now, anything in your screen is going to be captured as a thumbnail for your prop. So say, for example, this woman on the screen right now, if I saved her as an avatar or something, like let's get a nice close-up of her, like something like this. If I saved her as a custom avatar or custom character here, so over to custom and go to like active project custom. Let's just save this. Basically, you can see the thumbnail looks identical to what's on the screen right now. Okay, so that's going to be your let's call it teeth. Let's call it test. All right, so that's going to be your thumbnail right there for the custom project, and the same goes for iClone and everything else. That's going to be always the workflow for saving custom thumbnails there. So next question from Kurt: will CC3 in the near future offer the ability to fix morph expressions like 3D Exchange, but using GoZ directly? Basically, GoZ right now is used only for the base morphs, or for the base mesh rather. When it comes to fixing the morph expressions, yeah, unfortunately, 3D Exchange is the only way to do that right now. I'm trying to think here. Can you import in custom morphs? I do believe you can. This is something I haven't done in a couple of years. But custom morphs for the you can do it from DAZ. And I know you can. If you're importing from DAZ, you can use the custom morphs to import in for expressions. Yeah, but not from GoZ directly at this time. I'm just going to go with the safe bet. I don't believe you can for that. I haven't heard anything from that myself. So, yeah, I don't believe that's going to be in the near future here. But again, that's another wishful feature that you can throw in the forum there as well. So Tanji asks, I want to create a race of people with more than 3 legs, but mostly human-like features and skin. How do I do this? We don't support non-human characters at this moment. So currently we're only supporting biped characters, but I can tell you quadruped characters are currently in the works. So rejoice all you pet lovers and animal lovers and stuff. We are going to be offering quadruped stuff. So it's not going to be character creator. It's going to be human and animal creator in the future. So we'll have support for all of those things. We're working on it, but again, the timeline for that is not in the immediate future, but it is currently being worked on. I can guarantee that. Robert Wilson asks, what about humanoid characters with animal heads, like the character 3030 from Brave Star? I'm not familiar with Brave Star, unfortunately, but I assume it's kind of a humanoid character with a really messed up head. I think that again, those sort of animal heads can be achieved through sculpting. Like a couple of other people have asked, you export your mesh into another software or into GoZ or you know, Sculptress or whatever, 3D Coat, what have you, and you can just mess around with that animal head as much as, or that head as much as you want, make it look like an animal head. The only thing to be aware of when you're doing this, say for example, you're stretching out the nose really big, you want to have like a horse nose on this person. If you were to do that, then it's going to stretch your mesh, okay? And when you stretch your mesh, you're going to stretch your material. So if you stretch the mesh too far, the material is going to stretch as well, and it's going to look a little bit like low resolution. So you want to make sure that you keep a balance of that. You don't want to kind of stretch it too far, or else you'll have to retopologize, you know, the mesh there, and reapply the UV or the materials rather, or the texture maps to your character just to get it to fit. So just be aware of that. And that process is a little bit longer, a lot longer actually. Okay, Cheryl Brown asks, how do you add makeup, like long eyelashes, eyeliner, etc.? Adding makeup onto your character is, well, it's different with different types of characters. So with the CC3 characters, if you want to modify your material on your face, we can give this woman like a black eye, for example. So here's my, I select my character head right here. Okay, it's using the digital human shader. If I want to export this into Photoshop, I can just go ahead and launch it. I guarantee you Photoshop's going to ask me to like log in or something. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed. But basically what it's going to do is it's going to launch this map into Photoshop. And if I want to add makeup, in this case, I'm not going to do makeup. I'm just going to give her a black eye. Well, yay, congratulations. I really don't like doing this stuff. Oops. Having to log in all the time on Creative Cloud. It's troublesome. Troublesome to say the least. Yeah, okay, so here you go. Here's our map for the face. Let's give her a black eye. Yeehaw. So we just take like some paintbrush or something here. This one, brush tool. That's fine. Let's use a color like blue, purple, purplish blue. Like that, and we're like, whoa, whoops. Someone gave her a shiner. They put some black on the inside. I mean, she is living in a post-apocalyptic world, right? So, oh, that's way too dark. It's gosh, this is gonna. I get into a rabbit hole here, and I just do stupid things like this. Let's just try to sponge it out here, maybe. Whatever. Just blend something in, anyways. Okay, once that's done, file, save, shabam. Take it back into character creator. Should update automatically. What was the icon? That was character creator, right? Yeah, there you go. All right, there's our shiner. There's my 3-second shiner there. All right, so that's how you would apply, you know, theoretically apply makeup onto your character, right? Just by doing it that way. Using the more modern characters. But if you're using the CC1 characters, you can also go to these templates like I showed you earlier under, again, these are ones that I've purchased separately. Okay, so you need to purchase these separately from the content store. I don't believe the default version of Character Creator 3 has these templates under special. I'm not sure. CC1 base substance. These ones right here. You can simply just double click and apply these to your character, like make it dramatic as well. And again, here you can select to apply the material without the shader settings. Okay, but if you just want to apply the shader settings, again, it's going to apply a different material to your character. You can go ahead and apply. Apply. It's fine. It's just asking for both parts of your character's skin, the face and the body. And I'm just gonna undo this eventually, but yeah, these are. I'm not sure again if these are. Oh, this is gonna take forever too, because basically it's just redoing all the shaders. But yeah, that's what you would need to do. So it's 3 of 78. It's gonna take a while. Let's go on to the next question while we're waiting then. Okay, so Kurt asks, can the latest CC3 characters have the expressions reworked currently through the 3D Exchange expression editor? Export to OBJ, then sculpt in ZBrush, and then export and replace that morph in the expression editor tab. The only way I've done this previously is in DAZ. By using the DAZ Genesis or the DAZ presets. I'm not sure if that's able to be done. Custom morphs. Again, things might have changed since like 2 years since the last time I tried this, but let's try a quick example here. See if we can find an eye avatar here somewhere. This lady. Yeah, I didn't really talk about importing Mixamo motions. So if anyone is really interested in importing the Mixamo motions, I'm more than happy to go through that process. But for now, yeah, I'll just leave that as we have a lot of questions already. While we're waiting for that to load, I'll go through the next question here. Okay, so Benjamin asks, deleting faces below clothing is rather painful at the moment. Would it be possible to make an alpha mask or some other kind of mask and use it to define what faces should be deleted? Currently, we need to define what faces need to be deleted manually or one by one. Well, there's also the auto hide mesh, Benjamin. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the auto hide feature, but let's get into this expression editor here before I do anything. Expression editor. I don't believe there is an option here to import in the mesh. I'm not sure why this is taking so long. Maybe I'll just close this down for now, since we're probably not going to get into Unreal. I don't foresee any Unreal questions here. There's me again. You see the sun has gone down. Looks pretty scary. Yeah. There's the custom stuff that you can import in, or that's the custom profile. Never mind. No, I'm going to say that you can add morphs, or you can replace them here as well. Okay, so let's see if we wanted to replace this. Yeah, so you can replace with an OBJ, I guess. Right? That would be. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever done a tutorial on that. Replacing a facial morph. But I guess that's one way to do it in the expression editor. You can just go ahead and replace the specific morphs that way. So yeah, I guess we all learned something today. That is one way you can replace those morphs on the face. I've only ever done it in DAZ in my past, so that's the only time I've ever really needed to do it. Yeah, but that should be okay for you there, Kurt. Give that a shot. And if any questions, feel free to give me a shout, and we can troubleshoot together. Yeah, for Benjamin though, like hiding mesh stuff, fairly simple process. It's my character creator is not loading. Oh right, it's still doing this. But yeah, there is an auto hide mesh, but it's auto hide mesh is sometimes accurate, sometimes not incredibly accurate. Once this finishes loading, unfortunately, we don't have it in iClone. I should have known that we need to convert all the shaders. It takes a while. Wow, she turned into like a weird David Bowie type character. Yeah, there's your makeup. And now you should be able to, with the, no, still can't use the, so it's, yeah, you still can't use the appearance editor, but you need to use the CC1 base mesh for the appearance editor. So that is full body here should be convert from CC1. I believe these ones here, or else, yeah, there's CC1 characters here somewhere. Yeah, CC1 base female, CC1 base male under morph preset full body. So these ones you can apply those things to and get a result like this. Let's see if I control Z that. Hopefully it won't take too long to undo. To undo the monstrosity that I turned our old lady into. Right, there you go. Shaders do make a big difference, eh? You can really tell right there. Yeah, so auto hide mesh, that's what I was talking about. So for this female character, obviously if we took off the jacket, you know, all the mesh is still underneath. Okay. What you can do is you can go to over here. I haven't done this in ages. Again, edit mesh. I believe it's no, it's in Windows modify. I believe it is in cloth layer settings here. Yeah, auto hide mesh. Okay, so click auto hide mesh, and it'll basically auto hide everything below the jacket. And again, not entirely accurate. It gives you a good starting point. Generally, you can just refine the edges here. So now if I take off the jacket, boom, okay. So that's just the easiest way to do it. You can see at certain angles, maybe you can sort of see through the inside here. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to select that part of the mesh, of the shirt mesh, for example, like here. And just you know, select this stuff and oops, let's go to face selection here, and then just show. Okay, and then you would be able to see. Okay, so it's not hidden anymore. All right, it's just much easier to do that. Auto hide mesh is the easiest way, so you don't have to do it manually. Hopefully that helps you out there. Thomas asks, where do you access the digital human shader? Does that come with CCTV pipelines? So digital human shader, you actually have to purchase the pack, and I'll put this in the content or in the chat window here. Just Google everything instead of going through all the pages. Here you go. So digital human shader. These are all the shaders available, or not the. This is the pack that you can purchase. I'll put this in the chat window. Highly recommended if you want to do any sort of you know, highly detailed production in iClone. Use the digital human shader. Again, you don't really need to use it if you're exporting to iClone or to Unreal. But anything that you need to have high visual quality for within iClone, highly recommend the digital human shader. You really need to do this if you want to do any professional work within iClone. So you can go to buy product and find all this stuff here. I think it's under add-ons. Nope. Yeah, somewhere here. I'm not sure where this page took me, but digital human shader, yeah. Not sure why I buy. I do believe it is a separate purchase, but maybe it's just not updated on the page yet. Anyways, that's where you can find information on it. Let's go to the next question here, though, for Robert Wilson. That's kind of a follow-up question on your previous one. Four-legged characters, yeah, that's going to be in the near future. Douglas mentions, thanks for all your effort. Oh, thanks, Douglas. I'm really glad I can help you guys out with anything that, you know, I know the learning curve is not really that easy for iClone and Character Creator. Sometimes I tend to go through things a bit fast since I do these demos quite often, but again, anything you guys need me to slow down for, feel free to ask any questions, and you can also contact me as well. And I do a tutorial here and then, you know, the occasional tutorial you may recognize in my voice. Thanks for that, Douglas. Charles asks here, when I save a custom file as a prop or an avatar in a scene in the iClone, yeah, I think I already answered that one for you, Charles, there. So basically the workflow is just for the thumbnail. as far as I know. I think that it's always, regardless of what you have clicked on, what you have selected, it's always going to just use whatever's in your scene for a thumbnail. Okay, so let's go to next question from Kurt, asking about importing custom SSS settings that are designed to work with iRay. Is there a way that CC3 can grab the iRay SSS settings and to work with digital human shader? Yeah, that would be useful. So what Kurt is asking here is, can we take subsurface scattering settings from iRay and import those into the digital human shader? Unfortunately, there's no direct way to do that as far as I know. That is something that we can probably consider in the future, but that's unfortunately not an option at this time, to my knowledge. Let me just make sure here. Yeah, not supported. The development team mentioned to me it's not supported right now. So there we go. Okay, so maybe Charles, you can give me a shout and see, ask about the thumbnail problem you're having there. Anthony here asks, where can I find HD lighting you showed us before in CC3? HD lighting can be found in CC3. Oops. In a couple of places. You can go to content. You can go to stage elements here. So in stage, there's all these different lighting. There's different IBL lights. There's different light templates, okay? No, I've purchased some of these from the content store. I'm not sure which ones are included. But yeah, all the light templates can be found under stage elements template, really. I believe under atmosphere. And I know a lot of these are, I'm pretty sure like 90% of these ones are embedded. Light Studio is a separate content pack for purchase. But these are just different light scenarios. Yeah, and that's Light Studio, I know for sure, is a separate purchase from the content store there. So you can see something like these cool looking templates here. I haven't really messed around with these too much. There's a nice warm top light, warm one, gradient dark. Okay, so very different scenarios, very different atmospheres for all of those. So Andre asks, is the A pose an option for GoZ in the future? I'm totally a moron, I guess you can say, when it comes to GoZ myself. I've never used. I use ZBrush slightly, or ZBrush as they say in the UK, slightly in the past, but I'm in no shape to basically teach people anything about it. That's why we have my good friend Chuck, who did all the GoZ tutorials. But a pose option for GoZ in the future, I'm not really sure about that. I would have to discuss with our development team, and I think that yeah, that's something I can't really answer right now, unfortunately. Sorry about that, Andre. That's in line with development team for GoZ specifically. So, so Bob asks, will the new shaders still be substance based? The new ones coming up in the future, that's a possibility. Again, there's still a lot of kinks to work out with that, but ideally we will have the newest shaders be substance based, and I think that's going to be integrated into the near future here. So hopefully, I do believe they're currently working on that, and I didn't get any solid answers yet, but yeah. Okay. Final question. Daniel asking for a fur shader in the future. Fur shader is something that I did see in the product pipeline, actually. Fur, I'm not sure in what capacity, but I do believe, if I can recall, fur shaders are going to be worked on. They are being worked on later this year. And I believe that might be something that's coming in with iClone 8 or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, well, that is something that is being worked on. I can guarantee that for shaders. So since we've had a lot of requests for that. All right, I think we're gonna just end off the webinar now since it's a little couple hours over, or like an hour over, and you probably want to get tired of hearing my voice for the last couple of hours. So I'll give you some relief and let you go. Again, any questions, you can always email me, kai@reallusion.com, if something pops into your mind later on. And make sure you fill out that survey in the contents or in the email. Check your email for this survey, and we'll give you that 10% discount for the content store. And again, you can always record this, or you can always watch the recording later on YouTube. We'll send you a link via email as well. Yeah, so I just wanted to thank everyone so much for coming in today and enjoying this webinar. Hopefully I was able to answer some of your more important questions. And again, anything else you want to ask me, feel free to shoot me over an email, kai@reallusion.com, and we'll go from there. So I will bid you guys all adieu, and hopefully see you on the 25th February here later for our Unreal Live Link webinar. All right, bye guys.